Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Tasha Mason, author of A Child's Journey Through Grief series, and I want to welcome you to my live read of my new book, third book of the series called Let's Celebrate. I'm so glad that you're here to join me this evening, and I'm going to read the book. And if you have any questions at the end, I love to answer questions and let me know whether it's about the book or my author journey. I look forward to hearing from you. So we are going to get started. Let me open up my slides here. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Tasha Mason, and I wrote a Child's Journey Through Grief series. I am a children's book author and publisher. I am recently a certified nutrition lifestyle coach. I am an Army veteran of 16 years, a retired federal employee, and I recently am a volunteer for an online grief support group for adults. And a few years back, I did previous volunteer group facilitating for children as well. I'm also a grief coach, so I tend to stay pretty busy. And I wanted to share with you the reason why I decided to share this journey with you all. Um, when I was 9 years old, my dad died, and it affected me in so many different ways. And I wanted to be able to write something that people can relate to. Now, initially, I wasn't thinking about writing about grief, and I just wanted to write children's books. But once I got to a point of being okay with my father's death, and it took lots and lots of years, the idea came for me to write a Child's Journey Through Grief series. Now, some of you have already read the first two books. For those that haven't read, the first book is But Let's Celebrate. And this book basically follows a young girl who is dealing with the death of her father, and while her family is preparing for the funeral. It's a non-traditional funeral, and the book is written from her perspective, and she's letting you know how she feels. She's talking about her emotions and everything, and she's trying to figure out a way to say goodbye, which is not very easy to do. And then we come to the second book, which is Let's Celebrate. Now, after the first book, the idea came to, typically people that go to funerals, they always say, well, let me know if you need anything. And sometimes that does fade over time, but the family still has to deal with a new norm. And I thought about, well, what happens to the family after the funeral? Because they're still trying to figure out what to do. So I decided to follow this little girl named Jasmine, her journey as she's going to a grief support group for children, um, having experience with equine assistant therapy, which is with horses, being able to share her story with her family and friends, and being able to look at, is it okay to be happy? So this book, the third and final book of the series, Let's Celebrate, is the whole series is near and dear to me, but I say this book is the most important because as you're dealing with grief, regardless of the stages that you're on, that you're in, you always want to look at trying to move forward, being able to enjoy life, not forgetting your loved one, but being able to move forward, being able to celebrate, being able to enjoy events. And for some people, it takes a long time. Some people, maybe not as much, but it is a process. So I wanted to show Jasmine's journey as she's navigating through life with the help of her family. So let's get started. Come on, Jasmine, mommy calls. We're going to be late for your recital. I used to love my recitals. Daddy loved them too. He recorded all of my performances. Afterward, we would curl up on the couch with ice cream and cake and watch them together. But now Daddy's gone and nothing's the same. I take one last look in the mirror. I don't even want to go to the recital. But Mommy says Daddy wouldn't want his little Jazzarina to stop dancing. Jazzarina was Daddy's nickname for me because my name is Jasmine and I'm a ballerina. Who will call me Jazzarina now? Who will record my recitals? Hey, Jazzy, Aunt Rhonda says when we pull up at her home. Are you ready? I guess so, I tell her. You guess? Aunt Rhonda says. Come on, we can do better than that. Aunt Rhonda turns the radio on and we hear one of Daddy's favorite songs. By the time we get to school, I'm feeling a lot better. At the school, Aunt Rhonda says, smile. She has the camera and is recording me. So I'm excited. I started to pose. Mom leans over and gives me a box. Inside is a beautiful necklace with a beautiful heart locket. I read it out loud. To my dear, sweet Jasmine, I love you always. Love, Daddy. Your daddy is very proud of you, Mommy says. I smile as Mom clips the necklace around my neck. I know I will never take it off. Jasmine, it's time, says my ballet teacher. Mommy and Aunt Rhonda give me a hug. We love you, Aunt Rhonda says. Mommy nods. Daddy loves you too, she whispers. As I step on the stage, I see Mommy sitting in the audience, smiling and waving. Aunt Rhonda sits beside her, recording. I close my eyes and open them to imagine Daddy standing next to Mommy saying, go, my Jazzarina. I begin to dance. After the recital, Mommy, Aunt Rhonda, and I eat pizza while watching the recital recording. Mommy and Aunt Rhonda tell me what a great job I did. It's not the same as watching with Daddy, but I'm happy to spend time with Mommy, Aunt Rhonda, and my dog Bella. Jazzy, Aunt Rhonda asks as she clicks off the TV, what are you doing for your birthday? My birthday is in 2 weeks. Mommy and Aunt Rhonda started talking about having a big birthday party. I try to play along, but I can barely smile. The truth is, I'm not sure I want to celebrate this year. Having a party without Daddy just seems wrong. On the morning of my birthday, Mommy and Aunt Rhonda burst into my room singing happy birthday, and I burst into tears. It's okay to cry, Jasmine, Mommy says. It's okay to miss Daddy. Just try to remember he's here in our hearts. But I want him here where I can see and touch him, I say. Mommy wipes the tears from my eyes, just like Daddy used to. I do too, she admits. Now, what do you want to do today? I know Mommy planned a big birthday party, but I don't feel like going. Can we take the boat to our special place, I ask. Mommy nods. I think that's a fine idea. On the boat, Mommy and I looked at our memory book of Daddy. We share our best memories and laugh at our silly pictures. It takes a long time to reach our special place, and I fall asleep. A soft voice wakes me up. I think I hear Daddy's voice. I say, Daddy? Daddy, I shouted. I miss you. I wish you were here. I want to see you and hug you at home with Mommy, Bella, and me. It's not fair. Daddy doesn't respond. Mommy hugs me as I cry. It's okay to cry, Mommy says. I know Daddy is proud of you. I know he will want you to enjoy your birthday party today. You know he loved parties. There will be times when you will be happy, sad, mad, confused, and there will be times to celebrate. And that's okay. Continue to talk to me, Aunt Rhonda, and your friends at the support group. We will be here for you, and we will always remember him. I'm feeling better. I even think I'm ready for my party, which is a good thing because Mommy has gone all out. The house is decorated when we arrive home, and music is playing. Everyone is waiting for us. Although I wish Daddy were here, I am glad to see my family and friends. Mommy brings my birthday cake to the backyard, and everyone sings to me. I close my eyes and blow out the candles. When I open them, I imagine Daddy standing behind Mommy, smiling and waving. Bella pulls the tablecloth, and the cake almost falls off the table. Bella, Mommy yells as she runs towards the table. Mommy catches the cake before it falls, and Aunt Rhonda chases Bella into the house. My friends laugh, and I realize everyone is having fun, even me. That night, Mommy asked me if I had a good time at my birthday party. Yes, I tell her. Then I leaned in close. I wish on my candles for Daddy to be here, I whisper. Mommy nods. Me too. Mommy tucks me in and reads me a book that Daddy used to read to me. When she finishes, she says, You know, I see Daddy too when I go to sleep. It makes me sad that I can't see him or hug him, but I feel better when I see him in my dreams. Me too, I reply. Closing my eyes, I think about the year. I think about my year without Daddy. It still feels different and sad that Daddy is not here. But I am glad I have Mommy, Aunt Rhonda, Bella, family, and friends to share stories about him and create new adventures. And I know Daddy will never be forgotten. In the end, and I hope you enjoyed that story. And before I go to the Q&A section, I wanted to I have a few announcements. For those that don't know, the official release of Let's Celebrate, along with the activity coloring book, Remember, Love, Celebrate, is November 8th, which is right around the corner. And November is also Child Grief Awareness Month, which is why I wanted to reintroduce the whole series with the two new books that are coming out. Right now on Amazon Kindle, you can pre-order Let's Celebrate on Amazon. And if you haven't read the first two books yet, it's available on Amazon. I'm in the process of updating my new website, and it will be available for me when that time comes. But in the meantime, if you want to check out books one and two, it's on Amazon. And in a couple of weeks, October 21st at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, I am having an online workshop called From Grief to Growth, a creative workshop for healing. I will be using the activity coloring book I created, Remember, Love, Celebrate, that comes out next month, as I talk about the different activities in the book, talking about grief and ways of moving forward and being able to help children. And even for that child inside of you, if you're still dealing with grief yourself, sign up through Eventbrite. And this is also an opportunity to purchase the book before it comes out. Granted, the book is not needed for the workshop. And with that being said, that is it that I have for the announcements. Does anyone have any questions at all? Well, okay, thank you for that question. Um, I started writing initially back in actually 2019 is when I first wrote, but I don't want to say goodbye. It was really tough for me to write. Because I had to tap back into that my 9-year-old self to really get a good grasp on what I wanted to write for this book. As a matter of fact, I didn't want to use a traditional type funeral in the book, even though I briefly mentioned it. And I saw something that was really awesome on A&E. It was talking about a place called Sarasota, Florida, where I used to live when I was in the Army. And there was an organization called Eternal Reefs that made these reef balls, which is what this is right here. And it's a lot bigger than that. But I learned that that's a way that people would bring their loved ones' cremated ashes and put it on top of it. So I thought that it would be interesting to put that in the book. So I reached out to the CEO of the organization, and he allowed me to put that in the book. So starting from there, it helped. It made it a little bit easier to write. Which part of the book is the hardest to write? That's a good question. I will say, when it comes to dealing with the emotions were extremely hard because, like I said before, for the first book, along with books two and three, I had to tap back into the 9-year-old self, which was very hard because, grief comes in waves. And sometimes you feel like everything is okay, and then sometimes you're back at day one. So with writing this, I had to tap back into that, which was a bit of a challenge, but I would take breaks from time to time, but then I was able to start back up again. What message or feeling do I hope readers to take away? The biggest thing is I want the readers to not only identify with Jasmine and her family, I also want them to know that there is hope. And even though there is so many different ways that people grieve, it's okay to be at whatever stage, whether it's you're happy, you're sad, you're angry, you're confused, or if you're having all of those feelings all at once, and to be able to put it to a children's book story, because I really feel that sometimes, we as adults want to protect children so much, and in the way things have been going on in this era, children have been dealing with death in various ways, and I wanted to be able to bring forth a story where people can come together with their children, and even if they are grieving themselves, to find a way to be able to express themselves in a positive light, as well as identify with the characters, as well as using the activity coloring book, because that book has not only coloring pages and games and activities, there's also a place for journaling as well. How long did it take to complete the book from idea to publication? Let's see. So the first book took the longest because I had no idea what I was doing. So initially writing the book, and because it was emotional, it took me a while to really put it together. Finding an illustrator, as a matter of fact, my mom suggested Tanya Colton Colley, who did the first two books, who also went to high school with my sister LaRonda. And it was so cool because she had never illustrated a book. She was a graphic designer, but she had never illustrated a book. And I said, well, you know what? I've never written a book. So we worked together. We were able to sync with what the words I had, as well as her doing the illustrations. I would say I started in January of 2019, and we finished with her illustrations and the editing process, I say around June, July timeframe, maybe about 7 months, 8 at the latest. And you're not just looking at the fact of writing the book. And if you have illustrations, having the illustrator do their part. There's also the editing. So from the developmental editor to make sure everything flowed like it should for the audience that I want it for, to the copying editor that looked at grammatical errors, that looked at punctuation, different things like that. And then the proofreading editor, which had to make sure that looked to make sure everything was together. So that took time. So you're looking at several different pieces here. Did I ever get writer's block while working on the book? And if so, how did you get past it? Okay, so yes, the first book I had a writer's block, but what I did was I put it away. I put the book away for about a couple of weeks, and then I came back to it. And I think part of the writer's block was dealing with my emotions behind it. And so being able to um, be in the moment and understanding what I'm dealing with, and then I just put it away for 2 weeks and I came back to it. The second book, I had maybe one or two times where I had writer's block, but I had a lot going on with work and everything. So that one took about a week that I put to the side and I came back to it. The third book, I actually scrapped the first draft. I had a draft written. I wasn't sure about it. The developmental editor, she basically confirmed what I was already feeling, that it felt forced. So I decided to rewrite the whole book. So went back to it, started having ideas and started writing. So, and I'm glad I did. And then I had a different illustrator for the third book for Let's Celebrate and Remember Love Celebrate, Anata Mohanta out of India. He did a spectacular job. But yeah, there is a lot of moving parts when it comes to writing a book and working with an illustrator if you have illustrations, to getting editing done, because I truly believe more eyes to the book, more eyes to the draft is very important. How did I decide when I was done that the book was considered finished? Even now I still go back. So it's not really finished until I actually publish it. And even then I'll go back and see if there's anything I need to change. But yeah, once I actually publish the book is when I say, okay, it's finished, or is it? So I will say it's been an interesting process. It's been fun, and sometimes it can get a little frustrating, especially if you're trying to get the words out. I remember there are times I would wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning for an idea, and this was before I retired because I was writing while I was working. And I had to remember, I had to get up in a few hours. So I would write my idea down and then I would lay back down and and go to sleep. But I couldn't sleep until I wrote that idea out. And then that weekend, I would start writing whatever the idea that I build upon from there. What do you feel like this book taught you as a writer? Um, that even though I've completed four books, I still have a lot to learn. I'm so excited that I was so excited going to the Writers Conference back in August. And I went to the different classes there. Some of it was about writing, some of it was about marketing, which marketing can definitely be a beast. Um, and I learned that there's so much more to learn, because now, just to give y'all a little bit of sneak peek, since I completed the series, Jasmine's story is not finished. So I am going to start working on middle school chapter books to expand on Jasmine's story to see how she goes. Because I've had people ask me, what would I write more about Jasmine? And the answer is yes. So I'm excited about going that further, but going to a writers conference, speaking, networking with different writers from various genres. I even sat at a roundtable discussion about character development, environment development, and just to know so much more goes into it. And even though these are picture books, I took a lot of time and a lot of my heart poured into these books. It wasn't just something that I just, hey, let me put it together. So learning more about, I still feel like I have a long ways to go as a writer. But I'm so excited to be on this journey, because I will tell you, never ever thought about being a writer until the idea came. Some people say, "Oh, I've always wanted to be a writer. I always wanted to do this." No, the idea came, and then even though I sat on it for a year because I was nervous about writing something so sensitive, and I was wondering if anyone is going to like it. Will anybody read it? But I definitely glad I've been on this journey. If the book had one sentence, what would it be? One sentence. Okay. Let's see. If the book had one sentence, grief has layers, and so do I. That's my sentence. Because grief has many layers and it comes at various times. And whether you are an adult dealing with grief, whether you have a child that's dealing with grief, whether you're a teenager, regardless of the stage of your life, it changes you. And at various milestones, you're going to wish that person was there. So you're grieving not only that the person is gone, but the relationship that you no longer have. So that's why I love the saying, grief has layers, and so do I, because it's not all together. You can be 20, 30 years in dealing with your grief, and it can still feel like day one. If you can go back, is there anything you would change about any of the books? No. No, not at all. Not the process, not the fact that I had to start over from scratch on the third book, not any of the experiences, because um, I look at it as each as a teaching tool. um Hey, what I learned in the first book I did for the second book, and then even there were some things I didn't do for the second book because I had a lot going on, but when the third book came around, I was able to remember and do what I did for the first book and a little for the second, and bring it all together full circle. What do I want readers to feel when they close that last page? I want them to feel, even if it's for a moment, a sense of hope. Hope that things can get better. However, it takes time, because when it comes to dealing with grief, it's that some people have that there's a saying that it gets easier with time. I don't agree with that. I believe that it becomes more tolerable with time. You tolerate it more because you have to still be able to live, right? And some people haven't gotten to that point yet. So saying easier with time can be insensitive, so more tolerable with time is what I like to say. What advice would I give to aspiring authors, especially first time writing and getting it out there? Um, I would say first, if you have an idea, start writing. Whether it's a word, a phrase, a sentence, or a page. Each day, take some time out to just write. Don't worry about the format, just get your ideas out there. And while you're working on that, if you have a sense of what of the genre you want your book to be in, and if you start thinking about formats, go to a bookstore, see if you see something similar to your book, and see what the format looks like, see how they wrote it, see what it will make your book different from theirs. And so it can seem overwhelming because I did self-publish all of my books. And however, if you take it in steps, it makes it a little bit easier. So I would say to writers, just start writing. And once you're into the writing piece, I would say start researching little by little on what you want to do. Now you could submit to a traditional publisher, and that would make it a little bit easier. But guess what? The marketing is still on you. But if you decide to self-publish, there are some other steps to it, and still the marketing is on you. Lastly, what are you working on next? So as I was talking about before, the middle school chapter book. So the next book, like I said, is going to be a middle school chapter book. I'm going to be talking about Jasmine's family prior to the father's death. So you'll get a sense of learning about the family, learning about the dad. I'm still in the brainstorming stage, so I have no idea which way I'm going with it. And I'll be able to write a little bit more once the release of Let's Celebrate and Remember Love Celebrate comes out next month, because I'm getting ready for that. I'm doing marketing pieces, social media. I'm working on doing some author signings, so stay tuned for that. So I'm so excited, and I hope you all enjoy this. If you're watching this on replay, please put some comments in the comment box. I will definitely respond back to you. And if you are interested, again, if you want to pre-order Let's Celebrate on Amazon Kindle, you can go there now and pre-order it for Kindle. Otherwise, November 8th is when Let's Celebrate and Remember Love celebrate. And also October 21st, if you want to join the workshop, go to Eventbrite. It's also on my Facebook page as well. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. I hope you enjoyed the book. I hope you decide to get the book, if not for yourself, for someone you love that might be dealing with grief, or if you just want just a beautiful story. So take care. Have a wonderful evening. And remember, grief has layers, and so do I. Goodbye.